How to become a DEA agent. DEA agents work for the Drug Enforcement Administration, a branch of the United States federal government. DEA agents are responsible for enforcing laws to curtail the trafficking of illegal drugs and controlled substances within the United States. The work of a DEA agent is challenging and dangerous but also rewarding. Entrance requirements for acceptance into the DEA agent training program are numerous and rigorous. The application process encompasses several phases, is very competitive and can take up to 1 year to complete. Here are some helpful tips and suggestions on how to become a DEA agent. Part 1: Measuring up. 1. Know what you're getting into. If you do an in-depth search of the net, read about the topics, be confident and try your best to be ready by training, working on yourself, mentally and physically, you'll find that the number one thing every site will tell you is that you need to seriously think about this career path. It is dangerous. It is mentally and physically exhausting. It is the very definition of difficult. It is intense. It could be fatal. It is not an episode of Breaking Bad. You will be dealing with very dangerous people and very dangerous chemicals in very dangerous circumstances. You should know what these people do, what they are dealing, what the drugs do to people, jail sentences and the prices, and well, basically everything about the system. It will test your physical prowess and your mental agility. It won't be glamorous. At the end of the day, you'll pine for the days of flipping burgers. This is not for the faint of heart. 2. Be a U.S. citizen between the ages of 21 and 36 at the time of application. The only exception is if you already work in a similar work environment with a similar agency and started at a younger age. You must have a valid driver's license at the time of application. 3. Be willing to move. A condition of employment is that you are willing to go anywhere they tell you to go. It's best to realize this now. The odds of you getting posted exactly where you want to be are slim to none. If you really want to be a DEA agent, you go where they want you to go. 4. Go to college. Though a bachelor's degree is not required, it's highly advised. If you don't have one, you'll need to spend years getting experience conducting narcotics, drug-related investigations, working surveillance, arresting persons suspected of drug-related violations, and organizing evidence. If you haven't spent your Sunday afternoons doing this, a degree you'll need. Your bachelor's degree would be best served in finance, accounting, computer technology, engineering, or a foreign language. However, degrees in criminal justice or police science will also be received well. Your grade point average, GPA, should be 2.95 or higher regardless of your degree. 5. Get law enforcement experience. Most DEA agents have some type of prior law enforcement experience, some cops, some military. Though it's not necessary, it certainly does help and makes sense. Neither requires a college degree and both paths can be started near your hometown. If you don't have any experience and are young enough to still get started, consider one of these paths before you hit up the DEA for recruitment. Again, it is possible to be a DEA fresh out of college with no experience. Both are viable options and both paths have had people who have succeeded. It's merely a personal choice. 6. Be in excellent physical shape. One of the initial hurdles to becoming a DEA agent is the PTT, the physical task test. Even they consider it rigorous. They suggest reading up on the PDF you can find here to start training. As part of the application process, you'll have to pass this, and then it's on to training, which is even more intense. The PTT is comprised of pull-ups, sit-ups, push-ups, a shuttle run, and a 2-mile run. There is minimal time for rest between tasks and a minimum score must be achieved to pass. Seven. Meet the health requirements. In order to even be considered an applicant, you have to be in the right physical condition. That means your hearing must be unimpaired, your eyesight no weaker than 20/40 in one eye, have normal color vision, and be able to lift at least 45 pounds easily. Part 2. Beginning the application process. One. Contact your local DEA office. A map of the entire nation and its offices can be found online. If that's not a current option, call 800-D4288. An agent there will walk you through the basics. He will probably make you very aware of the career path and its realities. They are not trying to deter you from pursuing this. They are trying to ensure you're going in with as accurate a picture as possible. 2. Attend an orientation session. If you meet all the requirements at that initial meeting, your name will be put down to attend an orientation session. At this session, dress professionally and bring your ID. It is here you'll fill out an application to be considered for training. 3. Go through the written and oral assessment and panel interview. The best thing you can do for yourself during this part is to breathe, dress conservatively and professionally, show you've done your research on the organization, and be personable. Confidentiality agreements are signed prior to the process, so you may find very little actual detail online and from those you ask. Just rest assured that those with even zero experience pass. If you're looking for a really scholarly read on the DEA's hiring procedures, all the questions you could possibly have are answered in the document you can find here. 4. Take the urinalysis drug test, medical examination, and PTT. This one is pretty straightforward. Don't take drugs, get a good night's rest, and show up on time. Simple. Wahoo! Well, apart from the PTT requiring a super high level of fitness, we've already covered what the PTT will be comprised of in the aforementioned section. Now it's time to put that preparation to practice. If you don't pass this, you won't be able to continue on to BAT. You'll be eligible to reapply in a year. 5. Tell the truth on the polygraph examination. A polygraph test is an exam where you're hooked up to a machine that records your bodily reactions. The idea is that when you lie, your body will show it. Don't lie and you'll pass, no problem. 6. Score well on the psychological assessments. The two tests in question are the MMPI-2 and the 16 Personality Factor Questionnaire, assessing your personality and your psychopathology. The short MMPI comes in at around 300 questions, with the long version clocking it at 567. Needless to say, these tests take their sweet time. There will be a psychologist on staff who will help you clarify any answers if need be. They are there to assist and will be present and available when your test is being processed. If you'd like to talk to them, they'd love to help. Some of the questions on the MMPI are straight up silly. Do you often see ghosts? Is just one example. Often the same question is repeated in different forms and they are testing for consistency. 7. Pass the background investigation. Again, another step where if you're honest, and your record clean, you'll be fine. They'll ask you for references, fingerprint you, assess your moral character and reputation, the whole shebang. If your record is clean, which it better be, and your references check out, this will not be an issue. This will include obtaining information focusing on your personal history and education, personal and professional references, in addition to your work history. 8. Be approved at the final hiring decision. After all these tests are done, you'll receive notice of whether or not you're cleared to start training in Virginia. If you don't receive notice automatically, don't fret. These things take time. Part 3: Training and being an agent. One. Start BAT. The Basic Agent Training, BAT, for DEA agents is an intense, 18-week-long program that is completed at the training facility located in Quantico, Virginia. This is 18 weeks of testing your mental and physical powers. You'll be studying undercover surveillance and arrest techniques, defensive tactics and firearms training. In addition, you'll learn the basics of report writing, law and drug identification and recognition. Apart from the mental aspect, you will constantly undergo intense physical training. It's basically boot camp. Your superiors will rip into you, cutting out the fat from the meat, if you will. If you don't have the perseverance and fortitude to withstand the verbal and physical abuse, you won't make it. During the first month or so, trainees usually drop like flies. 2. Get your assignment. Between the 8th and 12th week of your training, you'll receive notice of your post. There's no promise how long each post will last. An assignment may entail being transferred to any location based upon the operational requirements and needs of the Drug Enforcement Agency. 3. Start being a superhero. A day on the job will be anything but boring. It will include investigating cases aimed at preventing the spread of drug use and putting those violators behind bars. You will be infiltrating drug rings, confiscating substances, testifying in court, and promoting educational programs. DEA agents will have to interview witnesses, collect evidence, and facilitate sting operations when required. Completing the investigation will involve written reports, wrapping up cases. 4. Work hard. You'll be working with DTOs, drug trafficking organizations, and CS, confidential sources, aka snitches, on the big cases. Other days you'll be filing paperwork and sitting at your desk frustrated because you feel like you're getting nowhere. Whatever it is you're doing, it'll be intense, sometimes physically, sometimes mentally, Sometimes both. It is possible that you could eventually be assigned to a task in a foreign office maintained by the DEA. They have 87 foreign offices in 63 different countries. Agents go wherever drug enforcement laws affecting the U.S. must take them. If you have a family, consider the fact that you may be required to travel on a moment's notice. 5. Coordinate with other authorities. On any case, you won't be the only big kahuna on the job. An integral part of your work is coordinating with local, state or federal agencies that have legal jurisdiction over the investigation. You all must work as a team to get the job done.
Tips.
Make copies of everything. If anyone on their end messes up, which does happen, you'll be able to pick up their slack. The last thing you want is an email saying you didn't submit something when you actually did.